Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and take a look at the iPhone 11 and compare it against the iPhone SE 2020 and see how these devices compare in 2022. Now, I'm a little bit too late. I didn't get around to making this earlier this year, but I will tell you there's still a lot of overlap between these two devices, and I truly do like these devices a lot. Now, if you want to pick either one of these things up, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there, help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside, both these devices, I mean, if you had a look at them, you may say that the iPhone 11 looks newer, but it's actually a little bit of an older device than this one. The iPhone 11 came out in 2019, and it was actually the iPhone that came out right before the iPhone SE 2020. Now with the iPhone 11, you're getting a 6.1-inch Retina IPS panel on the front. It still looks pretty good for the most part. The notch up top as well. It's definitely not, I don't think, like the best looking phone of all time, but it still looks very, very good and fairly modern for a phone that came out in 2019. I mean, even the iPhone 14s now still have the notch and kind of have the same design for the most part. The iPhone SE 2020, on the other hand, has a little bit of an older design with a 4.7-inch IPS panel on this front. And again, it's just one of those things that just kind of comes with it. I mean, I wish Apple changed the design, at least with the 2022 model, but this one, it is what it is. It was supposed to be more of a budget phone. You still have the bezel on the top and bottom, Touch ID 2 right here, and overall, it could have been worse at that moment, but I feel like with the 2022 model in particular, Apple could have done a little bit of a better job. Now, what's funny is these two colors are almost identically the same, which is actually pretty insane. The iPhone SE 2020 has that, little thinness border around. I mean, this phone is a very thin phone. There's like nothing on the outside of this one at all. With the iPhone 11, a little bit thicker, which is expected. On the bottom, we have lightning ports on the bottom of both these, which will look great. And on the back, we have glass backs on both. Now, between both, you can see that there's definitely a little bit of a change in the color. These were both like the white versions of both these colors, and you can see that the iPhone SE2 does have a little bit more of a wider approach than the iPhone 11. Not a big deal, it is what it is. The iPhone 11, you're getting that dual camera setup, wide and an ultra-wide camera. The iPhone SE2, you're getting a wide camera, and that's it. Now, I think the iPhone 11's camera is definitely better, even though the iPhone SE2 is technically the newer phone. Now, we're getting wireless charging on both. We're getting glass backs, IP certification on both as well, which is really cool. And beyond that, that's kind of all that's really different between them. I mean, when I look at both of them, the iPhone 11 is definitely the phone I would much rather have. But I do think with the iPhone SE2, there's still a lot of good stuff with this phone. And if you still own this phone, I definitely do think it's still worth picking up for sure if you really want a really, really cheap phone. But there's way better phones out there for this price tag as well. Now, in terms of software and longevity, this is where things are pretty much almost the same as well. These two phones kind of have the same exact internals inside of them. The iPhone SE2 doesn't have as much RAM, but the chipset, the Apple A13 Bionic, is still exactly the same thing between both, which I think is kind of cool, for this phone having the same chipset as this one. That's a really interesting thing. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean this phone is that doesn't mean that the iPhone SE2 gives you the same experience. They're going to be lasting the same amount of time, but a big thing here is the home button versus the gestures. Using the gestures is something that's really cool to me, and I love using gestures way more than I like using the home button. So if you want to click something, you have to click out of it. It's kind of annoying. I mean, it's like kind of an outdated practice. With the iPhone 11, you do have that capability of using gestures and moving things around, which I think that in and of itself is really, really nice. So in terms of that covers it up there. Now let's go into the speed comparison. The iPhone 11 and the iPhone SE2 both have that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside. The iPhone 11 has 4 gigabytes of RAM. The iPhone SE2 has 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, there we go. Let's go and clear the apps in the background, and they are all cleared out. So let us get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go hop out of this. And they're both actually on iOS 16.2 as well, which is interesting. App Store 3, 2, 1. And two different pop-ups on both. Let's go and scroll out of both of these, see what the differences are. And, they're both 60 hertz panels as well, so there's not really going to be that big of a difference here either. Hopping out of this one, Mail 3, 2, 1. iPhone 11 is faster, Clock 3, 2, 1. Okay, that one kind of covered that one up too. Photos 3, 2, 1. Kind of the same thing too. Just going to click out of this one. So many pop-ups, Camera 3, 2, 1. And awesome. Let's go and take a photo. iPhone SE2 a little bit faster. Let's go and open up that photo. And they're almost identical in that standpoint. Let's go and open up settings, 3, 2, 1. Okay, kind of the same thing too. Let's go and open up some of these third-party applications, which I have a lot of. Now, I think I have Genshin Impact on this one as well. So I do want to load up that game because that's a massive game. So I can't seem to find it, which I think is okay. I do have it, 3, 2, 1. Now, this is a very, very big game, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard about this game so far. I mean, it's a very popular one. And I would be surprised if the SE2 opens it up for it, and it kind of looks like it will be, which is pretty crazy. And the SE2 was faster here. The iPhone 11 a little bit slower. Very, very interesting right there. I don't even know why that could have happened, but it's one of those things. Let's go and load up some of these other third-party apps. Fruit Ninja 3, 2, 1. And it looks like the iPhone, actually, I think the iPhone 11 was faster, but it kind of looked like the SE2 was going to be faster there for a second. Netflix 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone 11 faster there. Quizlet 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go now by this one. Dropbox, which I don't have. Bofa, which I also don't have. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay, different pop-up here. So we're just going to have to let this one go, which is kind of sad. It's one of my favorite apps to test, Facebook 321. I might be logged in here, so we'll just have to see. And I am logged in. Make sure you guys follow me on Facebook. Let's go out of here. Stack 321. So many of these annoying pop-ups, which is so weird. Let's go and hop out of both of these. Let's go and play some game. Little glitch in the beginning with the SE2. But so far they look pretty good for the most part. So I think ultimately both are very, very good. I'm surprised the SE2 did as good as it did, but also I'm not surprised either because they both have the same exact chipset inside. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. Now in terms of the camera department, like I mentioned, the iPhone 11 does have that dual camera setup. The iPhone SE2 has that single camera setup. Both can do 4K video on the back, but the 11 can do 4K at 60 on the back. The SE2 can only do 4K at 30. Now, I will say for the iPhone SE2, I feel like Apple also could have done a little bit of a better job when this phone came out. I mean, I hate to just keep saying it over and over again, but these cameras just don't really cut it that much anymore. I mean, you don't have a telephoto lens or an ultra-wide camera, and I mean, it's just kind of sad seeing this type of phone still sticking around with this type of camera lens. I mean, it was really that much better than the iPhone 8's camera, and that phone came out in 2017. So, as of now, I will say the iPhone SE2's camera still doesn't hold up that well, and the iPhone 11's camera definitely has aged a lot better from my experience. So if you take a look at the iPhone 11 camera, like I mentioned, I mean, you're getting that dual camera setup, wide and ultra-wide sensor, which is really nice, but that is kind of it. I feel like with the iPhone 11, you're definitely getting a way better camera sensor for sure. This thing has that 0.5x zoom, so you can zoom out a lot. You have 5x zoom, which is still, I would say, good enough for a lot of people. But that 0.5x zoom is that big part, which I like a lot more. Video mode here, slow mode. You have portrait mode as well, which I really do like as well. So ultimately, I'll definitely tell you when it comes down to it that I don't know. I kind of do feel like that the iPhone 11 is 100% the better phone for sure. This phone has a lot more capability when it comes down to it, and it just gives you a lot more. I mean, it just gives you a little bit more of everything for sure, which is something that's massive. With the iPhone 11, it's just probably the better phone for sure when I kind of look at it. The SE2, I mean, I still think it's good and everything, but I don't know, like I just don't think it's really worth it at all, to be honest. And I feel like I said before, I feel like Apple could have done a better job and they didn't, and that's just kind of where we're at. So the 11 I think is the better phone for sure. That kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.